Hey everyone, TPS Miner here. Welcome back to the TPS Miner channel. Today is October 3rd, 2022, and we're now over 2 weeks past the Ethereum merge. So in this video, I want to talk about what I've been doing since the merge and ultimately where I've settled in as of today. So before I get into that, I do want to say nothing in this video is financial advice. In fact, full disclosure, I am mining at a loss across the board, but I've said it before, I'll say it again. I love GPU mining. Some may say I'm a GPU mining addict. I would probably say that as well. Would it make more sense for me to shut all my rigs off and just buy the coin? Yeah, probably, but it's not going to happen. So what I'm trying to do is minimize my expense and maximize my yield and try my best to get as close to break even as I can while we're in this bear market, while we're in this difficult time, and price exploration. Obviously we're at a very difficult market time. I know all those things. I understand all those things. Those are risks I'm willing to take. I am paying my electricity out of pocket. So again, I understand what I'm doing is probably a little bit foolish, but I'm just going to keep doing it. So the next thing I want to talk about is what I was doing just prior to the merge versus what I'm doing now. So at the time of the video, I had told you I moved everything from Ethereum to Ergo, Flux, Neoxa, and I was very interested in Conceal. I also said in that video that all of that could go out the window depending on what happened after the merge. Well, post-merge went wild, wild west, and things have in fact changed, and I have pivoted my plan quite a bit. So let's talk a little bit about that, starting with Conceal. I did start mining Conceal after the merge. The profitability or lack thereof, I was losing a pretty significant amount on mining Conceal, but I was really trying to dial my cards in, understand what the capabilities were, what I could do with Conceal. And then there was an issue with their cloud wallet. So users were reporting that their funds were being removed from their wallets without their permission. So there was some sort of breach. I have not done my research into this. I don't know what happened. I don't know what the response has been. So for the time being, I have stopped mining Conceal, and I probably will hold off on getting back into it until I understand what happened and what was done. I will do a follow-up video once I get that research completed, but for right now, I am not mining Conceal. The second thing, Ergo. As most of you are probably aware, right after the merge, there was a significant spike in hash rate on Ergo, which drove the difficulty way up. So yield was non-existent, there was no profit to be made, and all that hash rate went away, leaving that difficulty stuck at an extremely high value. So I did contribute my hash rate of my RX 470 4GB rig to try and help them get through that difficult time until they could get the difficulty back down. They did implement EIP 37 to make the difficulty more responsive to hash rate spikes. Now that EIP is in place and the hash rate, the difficulty has come down, I have stopped mining. And I do just a little note for anyone that is mining Ergo. At the time the EIP was implemented, the difficulty did drop significantly, but there was a very significant increase in solo mining hash rate on K1 pool. I don't think what to mine is reflecting that additional hash rate. It was something on the line of like 9 terahash. So you can see it if you go to miningpoolstats.stream, but I don't know that what to mine is reflecting it yet. So what to mine shows that Ergo is profitable. But if you are mining Ergo and you think you're profitable, I would encourage you to double check your yield just to make sure your yield is what you expect. Again, I have not done any research on it, so we're going to kind of leave it at that. But I'm going to hold off on mining Ergo for a while until I understand how things are going to stabilize a little bit. So for right now, I am still mining Flux, albeit with only 2 cards. I am mining Neoxa, again, only with 2 cards. ETHW. I didn't think I was going to do this. I'm not sure how I feel about ETHW. My gut says stop, don't do this. But ChumpChangeXD put out a great video on setting up the ETHW MetaMask wallet. So I followed the video. I did set up my MetaMask wallet. So I threw 2 RX 580s onto it. just so I could get a payout and make sure that I set up the wallet correctly. In all likelihood, I'll probably stop after that because this is extremely unprofitable. But again, for right now, I just want to get a payout to make sure I did set up everything correctly in the event that I do want to start mining at a larger scale down the road. So ETHW, the one thing I will say, I think I'd heard yesterday there was something like 50 plus dApps that have moved from Ethereum to ETHW. So who knows? Maybe it'll build some traction. Maybe you will start to see dApps growing here on ETHW, and you may see some use cases develop on ETHW that aren't there currently. So maybe a little FOMO. I don't know. Reptorium, I've been mining Reptorium on my CPUs all along. If I'm GPU mining, my CPUs are just coming along for the ride. So the most important thing I want to point out here, Bitcoin Z, BTCZ, is where I have moved most of my farm. So I am currently solo mining BTCZ, and I have been now for quite some time. This is where the remaining of this video is going to focus. I have 873.2 souls on my farm here, but I also have the 1660 Super in this PC that I'm recording a video on, and a 3060 Ti in my test bench that are also mining BTCZ for a total of about 1 kilosol, maybe a little over. So we'll get there momentarily, but let's step through the rigs real quick. Again, I'm using Gminer for mining BTCZ. The algorithm is Zhash, and I'm mining directly to TradeOgre. Now, I know this is a big no-no, but the reason I'm doing this is because I'm splitting my yield. By mining directly to TradeOgre, I can take 50% of my yield and swap it on TradeOgre for LTC. There's a Litecoin, so that is the trade partner on TradeOgre for BTCZ, the trading pair. It's BTCZ and Litecoin. So I'm trading half of my BTCZ for Litecoin and moving it off into my ledger. And the other half I'm moving into my Zelcore wallet. So Zelcore does support BTCZ. So if you've got a Zelcore wallet, you've already got a BTCZ wallet. So again, down the road, maybe I change this up and go directly to my Zelcore wallet. But for right now, I do want to convert some of this into Litecoin. Okay, so I am mining, solo mining. So I'm going to solopool.org, I believe is the pool. I think it's .org. So I'm using Solopool. And for my overclocks, I'm using the same locked core clock values that I was using for Ethereum, and then just setting the memory to 0. So essentially I'm getting the same power consumption, if not slightly less, because I'm not using the memory, and getting very respectable hash rates for these cards. So the next one, we'll walk through Skywalker. So this rig has started rebooting. My 1660 Super in this rig had a fan that is failing. So for those who've watched my videos before, you know that this 1660 Super used to be BIOS modded because it has Hynix memory. I changed the BIOS back to the original Asus BIOS to try and resolve this issue. So I'm not sure if it's the fan that's failed or that's failing that's causing the issue, or if it's something else with another overclock. Troubleshooting this now, but you can see I've got quite a few reboots that have happened that I'm trying to understand. So again, locked core clocks on everything with the exception of my 1660 Supers. I'm using a +120 with a power limit of 90. I found the efficiency to be nearly identical with a significantly higher hash rate using the core clock of +120. So again, I could get lower power draw, but the efficiencies would be about the same. So I'd rather have the same efficiency with a higher hash rate. So that's how I've got my 1660 Supers. Moving on to the Vader rig, I do have the 2070 Super and the 2060 Super, both mining Flux. For the 2060 Super, I'm using maximum efficiency. So I do have the core clock locked at 1050, memory at +800. With the 2070 Super, the efficiency is about the same if I lock the core clock than if I set up this way with the 120 core, -500 memory, and 125 watt power limit. But I'm getting slightly higher hash rate with similar efficiency. So again, I chose to configure this for optimal hash rate, not optimal efficiency. The remaining cards, again, are on BTCZ. You can see my 1060s. I have a core of 150, memory of 0, and power limit of 90 watts. Okay, last but not least, we've got Yoda. I've got the first two cards on Neoxa. That's my 6600 and my 6600 XT. And as I mentioned, the two RX 588 gig cards on ETHW going into my MetaMask wallet. Again, does this make sense? Probably not. Okay, let's jump now to the Bitcoin Z wallet, getbtcz.com. And I just want to point out a few things here with this. It is 100% proof of work, ASIC resistant, no pre-mine, no ICO, 100% fair launch. So these things are all appealing to me, right? I don't want to get into mining a coin where there's been a huge pre-mine or there's a potential money grab that could potentially exist down the road. So BTCZ from that perspective was appealing to me. The fees on this are very, very low. Approximately zero, and they're not kidding. The fees are extremely low. The other thing with BTCZ, it's not a fork of Bitcoin. It did have its own Genesis block. It is its own blockchain. So maybe a little bit of a misunderstanding or misnomer with BTCZ. It is not a hard fork of Bitcoin. It was inspired by Bitcoin. Maybe not the most original name, but maybe, I don't know what the rationale was. So anyway, there's a lot of information on this website. I'm not going to go into all of it. Get a lot of information here about the project relative to all of, or several other of its, I don't want to say competitors, but, again, unique blockchain, no fork drop, no free coins, no pre-mine, and only 51% of the available coins have been mined. So there's a significant amount of coin remaining to be mined. No pre-mine, et cetera, et cetera. So again, a lot of information here. I encourage you to hop over to this website if you are interested in BTCZ. You can look at what they've accomplished each year of their existence. So again, great resource. Encourage you to check it out. Now, let's take a look at what I've been able to accomplish since I've been solo mining BTCZ. Again, my current hash rate, I did turn off my 1660 Super so that I could record this video. So my current hash rate's dropped a bit, but you can see my average is right around 1.05 kilosouls per second. My personal luck right now is sitting at 40%. If we scroll down to my rewards, I'm focusing solely on the last 7 days. I have been mining exclusively with this setup for 7 days. You can see I've hit 17 blocks with a 77% personal luck. Again, for those of you that aren't familiar with luck, when you're talking about solo mining, 100% means you hit a block every time that you are expected to hit a block. Personal luck below 100 means you are lucky and you're mining them more rapidly than what you are expected to. Anything over 100% means that you are taking longer than expected to hit a block. So you can see today has been an absolutely atrocious day for me. 239% personal luck. No, not good. But since I started mining, I'm at 84% luck. I've mined a total of 152,059 BTCZ for a total of $33.13 at current market price of BTCZ. So again, you look through the personal luck. When I'm missing hard. 265%, 294%, 214%, 239. And what I'm finding is this is correlating to the rise and fall of the hash rate on BTCZ. When you get a spike in hash rate, my personal luck is garbage. But when that hash rate falls off, my personal luck has been really, really good. So just to have an overall personal luck of 84%, really, really good. Okay, so right now you see again, I'm at 41% personal luck. So let's look at the price of Bitcoin Z. So right now we're sitting at 0.0002153 cents, up 2%. And if we go and look at all, you can see that this is another thing that interests me. Bitcoin Z has been around since 2017. So they survived the last bear market. Now, when we hit the bull market, they didn't go to anywhere near their all-time highs that they saw back at inception, but you're still talking about a price that was upwards of 0.0045 is where this peaked out back in May of 2021, and a lot of fluctuations here. And then we zoom in even further to back early this year, January, February timeframe, and we were settling in right around 0.0006 cents. So we've got the potential from this 0.0002, maybe we 3x, maybe we get lucky, maybe we go back to one of these previous numbers where we 10x. Again, who knows? That's why we spec mine. And these are very small fractions of a penny in terms of value, but the volume that you're mining, each block that we're hitting is 5,848 BTCZ. So your gains in terms of USD, if that's the way you want to look at it, comes true from the volume that you're hitting while you're solo mining. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at mining pool stats. Again, I mentioned I'm on solopool.org, so I'm paying a 1.5% pool fee for the solo mining, which is why I'm getting that 5,800 plus. The block rewards higher than that. And you can see the circulating supply, 11.65 billion out of 21 billion, and the emission about 3.5 million BTCZ per day. So next thing, if we look at the difficulty, you can see we were running at a difficulty about 1.2, 1.5 somewhere for quite some time until the merge happened, and now we've spiked in the difficulty, albeit with some fluctuations. So if you see the hash rate start to fall off of BTCZ, you'll see that difficulty start to fall down as well. And maybe you are getting more lucky, you're hitting more blocks. But again, time will tell with what's happening, but you can see some significant fluctuations here in the hash rate. But solo pool mining on BTCZ is a very popular mining option. Okay, so let's go over to what to mine. What I've done, I selected a 3070, and what I did is for the Zhash algorithm, I put in my hash rate and power consumption, which is 88 hashes per second or 88 solutions per second at 130 watts. And let's hit calculate. And I'm very curious to see what happens here. So again, as I'd mentioned, you're seeing Ergo sitting at a profitability of 6 cents right now on a 3070. That's great. But I would double check this hash rate and make sure that this is accurate. Again, I'm not sure that this reflects the additional hash rate from that 9 terahash of solo mining. So again, do your own homework on this one. So let's scroll down a little bit, and you can see BTCZ right now on a 3070. My yield, if I were pool mining, is sitting at about 1,280 BTCZ per day at a loss of 4 cents. So again, this is not profitable. Earlier today, this was zero. Pretty excited when I saw that because I thought, great, 3070 is breaking even. All the other cards aren't because my 3070 is probably my most efficient card. So give you an idea of what I'm paying to be able to mine BTCZ. So I took that and I plugged it into a spreadsheet because I want to take a look at everything I'm mining and show you really what it's costing me to mine as of today, October 3rd, 2022. So BTCZ solo mining, my average yield per day over the last 7 days has been 14,203 per day, and that calculates to $3.07 per day. Neoxa, I'm getting about 90 Neoxa a day, which is about 25 cents a day. Flux, 0.42 flux per day so that's the 35 cents per day. Raptorium, 150 gets me 36 cents a day. And then Dogecoin, Litecoin, I'm getting about 11 Doge per day and 0.059 Litecoin per day on my Gold Shell, Mini Doge, and Mini Doge Pro, which gets me about 97 cents per day. That is just in revenue. Now, my electric cost per month to run everything that you see here is $200 a month. It's actually about $199 and change. I rounded it up to 200. And so if you add all of these numbers up and multiply that by 30 days and subtract out the electric cost, I'm actually losing $50 a month. So if I were to shut everything down and I were to just go out and buy the coin, I would be able to buy $50 more coin per month than what I'm mining. Now, again, I realize that this probably isn't the most intelligent thing to do, but let's look at the other side of that coin. No pun intended. It's starting to get colder. I live in, I live in the state of Maryland. It's been getting cold at night, down in the low 30s, and I don't have to turn my heat on because my mining rigs are heating my basement. That heat is rising up into the upper floor of my house, and it's heating my house. So even though it's getting down into the low 40s at night, I don't have to turn my air conditioner or my heater on. So is it worth it for the extra $50 a month? Maybe, I don't know. But again, I love GPU mining. If we're gonna be in a bear market and I am not gonna be profitable, doing it in the winter is the best case scenario for me because I don't have to turn my heat on and I can convince myself that this is worth it because the fact that I'm not turning my heat on at night. So again, at the end of the day, I'm not going to stop mining. I'm going to keep on going. This is what I'm doing. Does it make sense? That's up for you to decide. It makes sense for me, but I'm not recommending anyone go off and do what I do. Just wanted to share with you. So if you enjoyed this video, if you learned anything today, please hit the like button. Please consider subscribing to the channel. Hit the notification bell to be notified of future content. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you again real soon.